we're on disruptions, okay? There's an alert. There's an alert here. Starting where we ended last week, which makes a lot of sense, we put a lot of focus on the money, the banking, and the values, right? And I talked about Uranus going to 27 degrees. And there it is. 27 degrees, and Elgo is still hanging out with it. I said Elgo. Elgo's at 26. It's that little star right there. Then you have Uranus, Uranus. And then you have Hygeia, which is a report card. Report card about what? Whatever sign it's in. Taurus is farming and food, creature comforts, banking, right? 27 degrees. Uranus tends to be an authority figure. The tariffs are making things look really bad and horrible. Promise of recession. There is a report card here, a focus on money and food and farming and banks. That's the focus here, okay? And news about those things, because news, Mercury is 27 degrees. So this is also trade and business. Maybe that's part of this. 27 degrees is the Gemini degree. I talked about communication and talking. So we think of cars and electric vehicles because it's Uranus right there. You remember Uranus is known as the awakener of holy shit. We didn't know it was going to be like this, you know, that kind of FAFO type of thing. The other thing is that we talked about Jupiter being at 23 degrees, and it's in the Gemini energy. The market's the same thing. You see, all the same things or themes are being repeated, even though we're with different planets and different signs. So this is what tells you, this raises the probability of, oh shit, are we going to have a market crash? Now, the market's already gone down a couple of times, but I'm not an economist. I don't know enough about the market to say, I don't know how to measure a market crash. I don't know any of that. There's an alert. There's an alert here for sure, because Jupiter in Gemini, which really puffed up the markets to some degree, but could have also had some confusion in there. The markets were riding high and pretty for a long time, but the trade stuff and the tariff stuff and the promise of more uncertainty is really bad all the way around for the global markets, and that is Jupiter at the shock and surprise 23 degrees. You see, and this rules the markets, includes the housing and the real estate, anything with business and trade. It's like, what the hell's going on? Judges are also the Jupiter degree, right? So we think of the local district courts, the federal courts that you have within your state, and how they're trying to, the current administration is trying to get rid of those districts. Group disruptions are possible. Jupiter 23 degrees, especially if you're online. So this would be astrology. I have to say this, 23, Uranus, Aquarius energy is astrology. All right. So there might be some internet stuff happening big time. That is also in this. And it's part of it too, because Jupiter is also your beliefs about a thing or a person and your future. That's Jupiter energy. Okay. So hopefully this is like the public getting really pissed and saying, you say you want to start a revolution, right? Because 23 degrees is Aquarius degree. I keep saying it. I know. So maybe people will be organizing and doing what they need to do. Now, that is right at the beginning of this week. It's still a hot week. The future of the institutional energy, the future of our government, the future of federal judges, the future of law and order, the judicial system. Okay. 25 degrees is taking action. It's Aries degree. Remember, these nodes move backwards. So this is a new degree for the North Node. Actions being taken. And because Jupiter is part of this, it also includes overseas, foreign lands, foreign languages, foreign countries. Now, Neptune energy has the ability to make things and people get blurry or fuzzy or even to seem like they have disappeared, to dissolve energy. It can represent hospitals and doctors and prison. As the degrees get higher, again, it gets into people with a lot of wealth and money. And so here we have still together at 28 is Sirius and Saturn. We talked about this in the last video, food and grain. Sirius. Saturn is a slowdown and restrictions. The timeline was that we'll have more clarity once Venus and Mercury clear the 9-10 degrees in Aries. And look at Venus. Here she is at 8. Give it a few days' time, Venus will have cleared the retrograde zone. Tricky thing is that Celestia is still sitting here at 11. So technically, we want to wait for Venus to pass 11 degrees. In 7 days' time, Venus will be at 13 degrees. So what does that mean? That means that we have to wait 7 days' time to have a more sound footing as to what actions are actually being taken in terms of values and money. Yes, this has to do with armies and soldiers and weaponry. It does. But it's all mixed in with the foreign affairs. And tariffs are part of that. Tariffs are 100% part of that. And the fight for freedom that continues, the freedom and democracy that continues, the fight in Ukraine, and the play for peace. Venus is conjunct the Jupiter-Pluto midpoint. Change, transformation, deep changes, but it gets expanded upon. It's even at the Aries degree, right? Venus will be at the fight degree. And look, you see what's at 22 in a fixed sign in Aquarius? We still have Pallas Athena and Chariklo. Group energy, humanitarian energy. It's a square. It's a difficult square. The sun is an authority figure, but it's also how I express, how I shine and stand out and radiate and communicate with what I value. The square coming from Aquarius is technology. It's group energy. It's my friends. It's with doing something new and different, maybe trying a new technology, maybe experimenting on a new platform. This is stress and tension, but doing something new and different within a group energy, strategizing. And Chariklo watches and observes those who are suffering. You see, humanitarian energy. This is all quite powerful energy. And as you see, I have the words strategized disruptions because it's Pallas Athena now at 23 degrees. So for this week, especially right at the beginning, the sun getting a square from those disruptive, and it's shocks and surprises. It's Aquarius energy. Okay. But it's planned, strategized disruptions because it's conjunct. So for the week, we are still in Merkaba energy. We're still in it. We've got Merkaba. We've got Kite. We've even got, the full moon opposition. See the sun at 22. The full moon is today, right? Yeah, there's a full moon on this day. There's a separate video. Go check it out if you haven't seen it. But the full moon happens at 22 degrees. 22 degrees. Government, corporations, boss energy. You see what I'm saying? Somebody might be losing a boss, right? This is long-term goals, authority figures, rules. Okay? in Scorpio, full moon in Scorpio at 22 degrees. My values, banking, farming, and food, and the earth, the planet itself, is Taurus. And then our natural resources, what we dig and drill for, gold, silver, oil, coal. This is old money, blood money, because we think of insurances. I got to file a claim on my insurance, right? Insurance companies, big time. Insurance executive, possibly. I don't know. Did Luigi get out of jail? Is he getting out of jail? Is there a Luigi part 2 out there somewhere? Partnerships is a big deal here. I know I'm kind of having a little fun with that, but it's really partnerships. There's a big connection to partnerships because Juno is there. Okay. So shared assets, usually land, and we want to get that land for what reason? And so what does that take us to next? Yeah. Takes us to Sedna. Sedna sitting here at 0 degrees, minding her own business. She just wants to be left the F alone. Sedna is an Inuit goddess who was used and abused and left for dead. This Sedna would really, truly prefer to just be left the hell alone. My neighbor, right? Neighbor, Gemini energy, neighbor, coworker, friends, online communications. I could be talking, I can be texting. It can even be snail mail, social media. Sedna is the wound of the indigenous peoples, specifically feminine energy, icy cold waters, used, abused, left for dead. So we think of feminine energy and we think of the educational system as well. Shocks and surprises, disruptions. And Gemini is communication. And Jupiter is publishing, preaching, teaching, extended education. And that's a big part of what's going on, the extended education and students not being able to attend college courses because they're getting rid of people who handle all of that within the government, who handle the loans. And anyway, this is so far a scary mess that we're in. So for this week, expect disruptions. That's the big message for this week. Expect disruptions. You have Uranus at 27, so it would be social media, shocking communications, shocking news from an authority figure, maybe with the tech mogul. It's tariffs for sure, and hearing more about that, and how is that affecting the economy exactly, and hopefully we will see some changes, and hopefully this group that has power will do something, because they do have the power. They just have to exercise it. But that's a tall order in times when there's no heroes and there's no people who have any courage anywhere. Bernie Sanders, right? Yep, he's about the most courageous. There's other ones. There's a handful of other ones. I'll put it like that. There's a handful of other ones. Just remember, for this week, we're on disruptions, okay? Taking actions. And for you and me, we want to make sure that, yes, we can rally, we can protest. We always want to make sure that we take a few minutes to step back, to think things through first. I'm all about peaceful protesting, absolutely. And that is, what I would recommend. Uranus can tend to want to do something to really create a shock. And you just got to be aware of what consequences may be. All right. So just do things that make sense. Do things that have worked in the past. Do things that, you're capable of handling whatever those consequences may be, and that your eyes are wide open going into it. Okay. So that's it. You take care, and I will see you in the next video. All right. Bye-bye.